Well, I would never invest in a company like Bharti Airtel, and let me give you 7 reasons for that. Number one, it has got negative free cash flow. I looked at the data from 2011 till 2021, that is 11 years, including 2011, and I looked at the cash flows of the company. So, if you look at the cash flows, the company has produced an operating cash flow of around 2,90,000 crore in that period. And if you look at the capital expenditure, it was 2,50,000 crore. So around 40,000 crore is what the company actually made during that 11-year period. However, when you deduct the interest payment, which is 50,000 crore, and you deduct the loan repayments, which is 2 lakh crore rupees, then you suddenly realize that the company has actually produced a negative free cash flow of 2 lakh crore rupees. So the free cash flow is operating cash flow minus capital expenditure minus interest expense minus the loan repayments. So the company has produced a negative free cash flow of around 2 lakh crore. I don't want to invest in a company that is spending more than it is earning. So that is one reason why I am not interested in investing in Airtel. I want a company which is making money after making the capital expenditure, after paying the interest, and after doing the loan repayments. So that is one reason. And you can see that in the stock price. I mean, on 1st April 2011, the stock price of Airtel was 320 rupees. And on 1st April 2021, which is around 11 years time period, the stock price is 511 rupees. So the stock has not even doubled. And if you talk about dividend return, the dividend given by the company is very small compared to the size of the company or the operating cash flow of the company. So the dividend return is negligible. So I would have been better off if I had invested my money in a fixed deposit in a bank rather than taking risk investing in a stock. So that is one reason. Negative free cash flow. I don't like companies that don't produce free cash flow. Number two, high debt. See, a consequence of negative free cash flow is that the company is spending more money than it is earning. So where is this extra money coming from? So if you look at Bharti Airtel's balance sheet, it has a very high debt on the balance sheet. So it is 1,62,000 crore as of March 2021. 1,62,000 crore. That's a lot of money. Say 7,500 crores is $1 billion approximately. So say $20 billion, that's the debt on the company. So that's a lot of money to be repaid back. So if a company has got a lot of debt, it will also have a lot of interest expense. More interest expense means lower net profit margin. I don't like that. I like to invest in companies that are debt free. I like to invest in companies that don't require external capital to grow. 1,62,000 crore rupees is a lot of debt on the balance sheet. And it's because there is price war always happening in the telecommunications sector. Every telecommunications company is looking at acquiring subscribers. And as a result of that price war over the past 11 years, well, now they have started increasing the prices. But because of all of this, plus the spectrum cost and everything, it has resulted in a lot of debt on the balance sheet of these telecommunications companies. You can see that with Vodafone Idea as well. So that is number two, high debt on the balance sheet. Number three, the company has been reporting losses consecutively for the past 2 years. The company itself is telling you that we have produced a loss of 32,000 crore in 2020 and 15,000 crore in 2021. And if you look at the past 11 years of data, if you add up all the net profit of the company, you will come up with an amount of minus 16,000 crore. So the company has lost 16,000 crore rupees cumulatively during that 11-year time period, which is the reason why you see a poor stock price performance. So the company is a loss-making company. You can see that on the financials. You can find the financials on screener.in. Just go to the search bar and type Airtel. You will see all these financials. Number four, The company seems to be borrowing money to pay dividends. If the company is not making money, how can it pay dividends, right? So the company has paid around 19,000 crore rupees of dividend in the past 11 years. So the question is, if the company has not been making money, how come it can pay a dividend? Well, you can see that on the debt on the balance sheet. So it's like the company is not paying dividends out of the profits. The company is paying dividends after borrowing money. So I don't want to invest in a company that is borrowing money to pay the dividends. That is the way I look at this company. Number 5, the company keeps selling equity. If you look at the cash flow from financing, there is an item called proceeds from shares. So when the company sells shares to raise money, that is when it is diluting the equity. And Bharti Airtel has raised 72,000 crore rupees in the past 11 years, from 2011 till 2021. 72,000 crore rupees has been raised by proceeds from selling the shares of the company. I don't like that. I want a company which doesn't require equity financing, which doesn't require debt financing at all, and it can self-sustain. That is the company that I am looking for. See, I am not saying that Bharti Airtel is a bad company. It's a great story. It is an example of capitalism in our country. It's a good company. It's a large company. But I am not interested. There are 5,000 companies listed on the stock market. Why would I invest my money in a company that is producing a negative free cash flow? To me, it doesn't make any sense. Plus, if the company is constantly required to dilute equity and raise money, I don't like that. I like companies which buy shares rather than sell shares. When you buy back shares, you increase the stake of existing shareholders. Anyways, number 6, as you know, Reliance Jio has become a big player in the market now. So there is always going to be competition, and there is always going to be bidding for this spectrum. So the spectrum war is a constant war, and all of these telecommunications companies are trying to get access to the spectrum, which is a national asset. So the government will always try to sell the spectrum at a higher price, and the telecommunication companies will always want the spectrum at a lowest possible price. So there is competition, there is regulation, there is this buying and selling transaction with the government. So all of this is putting pressure on the company, and I don't like all of this. I want a company that is clean, which has been doing business for past 5 decades, maybe 100 years. There are some companies which are in the market for the past 100 years and are doing very well, good cash flows, low or no debt on the balance sheet, very strong companies, very strong brands. So these are the kind of companies that I like to invest in. Bharti Airtel is not my type of a company because it is facing a lot of headwinds. Number 7, it is a capital intensive business. Well, you have to set up towers, then you have to pay for spectrum, then you can't increase the prices beyond a certain level because then subscribers will move from your company to another company. Plus you have interest expense. So constantly the company has to keep borrowing money. Constantly the company has to keep investing money. So it's a capital intensive business. If you compare this business with a mutual fund business, let's say HDFC Asset Management Company, well, what do you need to run a mutual fund? You just need an office. You buy a floor in a building. That's it. You are done. The company is set up. That's what you need to run an asset management company. But Airtel, I mean, you have to set up infrastructure, network. You have to lay these fiber cables and all of these. So it is very expensive, and we live in an inflationary economy. So it is costing the company a lot. That is why there is a lot of debt on the balance sheet. So the nature of the business is such that the company is not in a position to make free cash flows, which is the reason why I have not invested in Airtel. So my question to you is, are you thinking about investing in Airtel, or are you already invested in Airtel? And if yes, then have you looked at these factors that I have mentioned? I have tried to give you a different perspective here. In investing world, it is always better to take a different perspective. Somebody who does not agree with you. That is a person that you want to interact with when we are in the investing world. So let me summarize once again. Number one reason, negative free cash flow. Number two, high debt on the balance sheet. Number three, it's a loss-making company. Number four, it's borrowing money to pay dividends. Number five, they keep selling the equity. Number six, competition from Reliance Jio. Number seven, it's a capital intensive business. So that's what I wanted to discuss with you in this video. Thank you so much.